So yeah, here we go. Lying on our backs to begin with. You've got bent knee options. So you're just going to shuffle your feet. Have your feet about hip distance apart so that your knees naturally fall into each other, so that there's minimal effort involved. Or if it feels comfortable for your hips and knees, bring the soles of the feet together and then let the knees splay out. So if it's uncomfortable for the hips, maybe the bent knee option feels a little bit better for you. So play with the two, perhaps you see what's most comfortable. It's quite nice sometimes just to take a little wriggle through the hips so that the lower back feels comfortable as well, like a little pick up and tilt of the tailbone before you drop the hips back down. And then give the shoulders a little shuffle. And if it feels comfortable for you, close your eyes and lay your hands on your tummy, or kind of lower chest tummy, whatever feels best. Maybe you're just interlacing the fingers like you're sort of cradling your tummy in the palms of the hands. And then, yeah, like I said, close the eyes if that feels good. So the nice thing about this Sunday evening class is that you can kind of hopefully put the rest of the week to bed. Maybe you've had a busy week or a busy day, and we've just got this little half hour, this precious half hour to be able to spend together your time on your mat in this lovely safe space. So as we do this grounding exercise, try and let all thoughts of the week, all thoughts of the day just disappear like little bubbles floating away from you, and then they just pop, and then you've just got this own empty space with you and your mat so that you can really listen to and tune into your body. We're going to move really gently. We're not even going to come up any higher than a kneeling position. Everything's going to stay really nice and low to the ground, and we're going to be finishing in a fairly similar position, lying on our back, so you can play with those hip and knee positions again. As ever, we'll be breathing in and out through the nose. And there are breaks factored, but if you do need more of them, please take those extra breaks. And then with this slow flow, also there's some options. If you want to take even softer versions of what we're doing, you can do that as well. All right. When you're ready, let's bring both knees up super gently up in towards the chest. Take your hands over the top of the knees. Give yourself just a little squeeze. You might feel the lower back press against the floor as the hips tilt and lift ever so slightly. Nice little squeeze. And then as you stretch out, send your toes away, send your fingertips away. You can still keep them resting along the mat. But we're going to make a banana shape. So tilt your hands and your feet over towards the right-hand side. You'll feel the right side of your body working, but maybe a stretch through the left. And then as you come back through center, let's make a banana shape to the left-hand side. So stretching out through the right. Bring the knees back up in towards your chest. Lifting the tailbone, feel the lower back flatten. Perhaps this time you lift head, neck, and shoulders to curl yourself into a teeny tiny little ball. And then let's take another full body stretch all the way out with another active tilt to the right, so the fingertips and the toes stretching towards the right, pushing the side of your belly on the left-hand side away from you. Come through the middle and tilt towards the left, making a banana shape this way, stretching out the right side, pushing the hips and ribs on the right, open and away. And then back through the center, knees to chest again, lift head, neck, and shoulders, curl yourself into a tight little ball. And then keep a hold of the right knee while you let the left one go. Left leg extends all the way along the mat. Maybe you feel a hip flexor stretch on the left side. If you prefer, maybe you bend the left knee, placing the sole of the foot on the floor if you need to be a bit softer, or straighten the left leg, sending the toes away from you. Then we're going to take a gentle bit of movement, right knee in towards the chest, squeeze it tight, release, take it wider, draw it to the side of your ribs, squeeze it tight, release, let it lift, come back into the center of the chest, squeeze, release, let the knee lift, come over to the right hand side, squeeze. And then we're going to take the right knee all the way over to the left. So use your left hand to pull the knee over. Let the hips roll. See if you can keep the shoulders on the mat. And maybe the foot floats in midair. Maybe the foot reaches the mat. Maybe the knee reaches the mat. Whatever feels good for your back. And your right arm, you can extend it away from you. Maybe you turn your head to look over the right hand. So you let the shoulders ground. Softening your breath. Easing into the twist, Making sure that you've not gone too far, that the breath starts to catch. Still feels natural, gentle, and rhythmical. Now when you're ready, gently guide your right knee back up through the center of the chest. Use your hands, let the hips find the mat. Good. Take one more squeeze, right knee pulls towards you, and then let it go. Swap it around to the left side. Let the left leg and the knee come up in towards your chest, taking the hands on the top of the shin, squeeze it in towards you. And then we'll do the same. We'll take a gentle bit of movement. So release the knee lightly, let it lift away. Take it wide to the side of the ribs and then squeeze it back in. Feeling a little opening up through the hips. Release, reset it above your chest, pull it back in, squeeze, and release. Let it lift. Take it to the left side of the chest again, squeeze. Nice. All right, as you soften your grip, use your right hand to pull the knee all the way over to the left. Let the hips rotate. Try and keep the shoulders on the mat if that feels comfortable. And again, maybe your foot is floating in midair. Maybe it finds the ground. Maybe your knee finds the ground. Stretch away with your left fingertips so the shoulders are rested on the mat, as is the upper arm, lower arm, and hand on the left side. But the hips are allowed to rotate, still breathing. In through the nose fully, and out through the nose. And then we'll bring the knee back up over the chest. Guide it along. Use your hands. Slowly let both hips find the mat. As you bring the knees back up in towards the chest, lift head, neck, and shoulders. Take a breath in, squeeze toes, and release. Now we're going to come into a seated position, and you can do this by sliding your hands behind the knees, rocking forwards and backwards, or if you prefer, just roll onto your side. Gently guide your way up. Take it nice and gently. And then we'll come to sit. There we go. Perfect. Cross your legs nice and gently, whichever way feels good for you, with your hands resting on the knees. Take a little wriggle so that your sit bones find the mat. Allow the shoulders to roll back. Lift through the chin, the chest, the crown of the head. Take a little bit of firmness through the torso. And we're going to take 3 big shoulder rolls behind you. So lift the shoulders up, squeeze into your ears, draw them back, lift the chest, and drop them down. 2 more like that. Slow and deliberate. Breathe in, lift, draw back, breathe out, drop them down. 1 more time. See if it helps you to feel a little taller, each one. Up, breathe in, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and drop them back. Lovely, really nice. Take a gentle tilt of the head over towards the right-hand side. Try and keep the left shoulder level. Relax your gaze, look down between the thighs, drop the head forward, and then tilt the head over towards the left-hand side, drop the right shoulder down, and then gently look up and back, lifting the chin, make sure you stay balanced. And then we'll take the journey back over towards the left. So feel the stretch on the right side of the neck. Dropping the head forward, looking down if you have your eyes open. Tilting over towards the right. And coming upright again to finish. Good, really nice. Let's swap our legs the opposite way around. And quickly uncross and recross with the unnatural leg ahead of you. We'll take a couple of rounds of seated cat and cow. So with a gentle grip on the knees, you're going to draw your elbows back, lift the chest, lift the chin, breathe in, feel the back of the body arch, and breathe out, round your back, roll over the hips. Maybe you bring your elbows closer together, stretching out through the back of the body, push behind you. And 2 more, breathe in, sit tall, lift. Feel the front of the body stretch. And breathe out, round the back. Feel the back of the body stretch. Taking a slight lean back, just as much as you can stay balanced. 1 more time, breathe in, sit tall, draw the chest forward as your elbows pull back. And round the back, allow yourself to roll over your sit bones. Breathe out, feel the back of the body stretch. Good, nice. And then bring yourself up to your seated position. Either rolling over your ankles or side saddle your legs around. We'll come to tabletop. So gently pan out your mat, find your balance between all 4 of your limbs, gently onto the ground. Perfect. And then we're going to make a figure of 8. So imagine your shoulders are scooping left to right and forward, and then your hips right to left and backwards. So you start to serpentine around, shoulders moving one way, and then the hips follow, moving the opposite way. We'll take one more moving like this, make it as big or as small as you need. And when you come back through the middle, reverse it. Send your hips the way that they just came. As you come through the middle diagonal line, send your shoulders up and around. Maybe this releases a few creaks and cracks, specifically from the hips. I know it does for me. It's all good. Let them move side to side, front to back. And they will come back through our neutral tabletop. Awesome. Send your toes together, your knees wide. Push your hips back. Relax the chest down between your knees. Soften your arms. Maybe your forehead finds the mat. And then we've got child's pose. At any point that you need a rest, a reset, a break, you can come back here or any other pose that you find comfortable. On your next breath in, we're going to rise back up into our tabletop. And then we're going to come through a plank. So one at a time, straighten the legs out behind you, not for long. This is probably the most energetic section that we're going to do. Pushing back on the heels to give you a bit of momentum, you're going to step your right leg forward and through. So taking a nice big stride with the right leg. For a moment, let the hips open and stretch. The right knee bend deepens, the hips open, and then the left knee comes down. The toes relax. And we'll stay low for this first one. Imagine that you're pulling specifically the left hip down to the ground and forward. So I feel like I'm digging my right heel into the mat and pulling it towards me while the hip comes forward. Hands stay low. Even maybe the elbows start to bend and come on the inside of the knee if that feels good. Lowering down. That's it, coming into your breath. So anywhere that you notice tightness and tension in your muscles now, send fresh breath there. So imagine as you inhale, you're rejuvenating the muscles that feel tight. And as you breathe out, that tension disappears. Good, lovely. Walk your hands up underneath your shoulders again. Keep the left hand on the mat. Turn your chest towards your right knee as you lift your right hand up. Now, if comfortable, you can allow the knee to drift wide on the right-hand side. Maybe you turn the toes on the right side out even more so that the hips have an additional twist as the hand lifts up. And perhaps even you lift the hand behind you so you create a little bit of a back bend, shining the chest up towards the ceiling. Breathing in as you open the front of the body. And then breathe out, bring the hand back down. Tuck your left toes. Lifting the hips back up, swap the legs around. So we'll come back through plank briefly. Maybe you push onto the heels before you take a big step through with the left. Remember the left knee bend deepens, the hips open out and lower, and eventually the right knee comes down. Soften the toes. So now we're actively pulling back on the left heel as the right hip pulls down towards the mat and forwards. So we get a nice hip flexor stretch on the right side, but you may well feel a little bit around the back of the left hip too. It's absolutely normal. Same thing here. If you wish, maybe you lower your elbows down towards the mat. If the hips feel comfortable doing so, just take your time and again, breathing into anywhere where you're feeling tightness and tension. So your fresh breath in is rejuvenating the muscles that are a little bit tight, and breathing out lets that tension go. Good, lovely. If you took the bent arm option, walk them back upright. Keep your right hand on the mat, turn your chest towards your knee, lift your left hand this time. Same option, perhaps you press the left knee a little wider, so you allow the hips a little twist. Maybe you're lifting your hand a little bit behind you, shining the chest up towards the ceiling, just enhancing your reach. You might feel a stretch through the front and side of the chest on the left side. Good, and then gently set that hand back down. Tuck your right toes, straighten the leg, step the left leg back. We'll take another little rock back into the heels. Time for the right leg to come forward again. As soon as the knee bend deepens enough, allow your left leg to lower. Untuck the toes, and we'll take a breath in this time. Lifting the shoulders, take the hands behind the hips, long arms as you sink into a little back bend, lifting the chest, loop the shoulders back, squeeze your shoulder blades together. So we're having a lovely chest stretch here. Then release your hands, straighten your right leg, half split hamstring stretch. The hips settle over your left knee. And if the hamstrings are tight, be kind to them. Stay a little bit higher up. Maybe you're coming up onto your fingertips. If the hamstring feels good, lower the body down over your right leg. But keep the body long if you can, rather than squeezing up into a little ball. So imagine you're looking over your right toes. A tilt of the hips up behind you. That's where you'll really target your hamstring stretch. Let's take another breath here. Inhale, maybe the body lifts. And exhale, perhaps it feels comfortable to lower down. Good, nice. Rebend the right knee, rock the hips forward, coming back into our low lunge. This time as we breathe in, the fingertips are going to lift up, 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 overhead. You can make a little grip with the hands, lifting your pointer finger up towards the ceiling. Wrap your thumbs around your hands. Maybe the chest lifts further, the thumbs start to reach back, and you deepen your back bend. Only if that feels good. Should allow the front of the body to stretch and the hips to open. And then release, hands come down, breathe out. Let's tuck our left toes, lift the hips, step back, plank. Take a little rock back, and we'll do that on the left side. So step forward with the left. When the knee is bent enough, lower the right knee, release the toes. Find your balance, lift the shoulders up above the hips, interlace the knuckles, long arms, chest lift, still thinking hips forward and down. Take a breath in as the shoulders surrender, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the collarbone, and then release the hands, straighten your left leg, send the hips back, finding your hamstring stretch. Remember, upright if that feels better for you, or bend the body a little bit deeper, but pivot from the hips, hinge at the hips, send the tailbone up and back behind you, and then lower the body as much as feels comfortable. Same again, come into the breath, breathe in, freshness to those tight muscles, and breathe out, the tension. Next time you breathe in, lift a little. Next time you breathe out, if possible, lower a little. Good, really nice. Rebend the right knee and left knee now, sink the hips forward and down, and then as you inhale, the fingertips lift. Good, interlace the knuckles. Lifting your pointer finger up towards the ceiling, or wrap the thumbs around your hands. If comfortable, lift the chest a little further. You'll feel the right glute fire up a little to help your balance. And then we'll release. Down we go. Hands onto the mat. Tuck your right toes, lift the leg. Step back for plank. Place the knees on the mat. Send the toes together, sink the hips back. Reach forward, breathe out, and lower. Child pose. Good, well done, that's really nice. All right, so take a moment here, come back to your breath. If you need a sip of water, that's awesome. If you want to adjust any clothing that you're wearing, you can do that too. Excellent, all right. And then when you're ready, we're gonna rise back up into tabletop briefly. Bring the knees underneath the hips, about hip distance apart. And then you're going to reach your hands forward, coming onto your elbows and forearms. Take a moment, start to let the belly lower as the hips lift. Reaching forward a little further if that feels comfortable, maybe the chest lowers. And reaching further forward if that feels good, perhaps the chest finds the ground. So this is puppy pose. So we've got a back bend, hips are lifted. It gives a really nice stretch to the shoulders. Modify if you need to. If you are better off with the elbows bent and the chest lift a little, that's okay. But if you prefer, big stretch forward, lower the chest, chin or forehead onto the mat, and then try and release any tension from the upper body. Draw the belly button in, lower ribs wrap in. And then we're going to take a slow slide forward, rebend your elbows, come onto your tummy into Sphinx pose. Good, nice. So elbows are underneath the shoulders with roughly a 90-degree bend. You can zip up the inner thighs, keep the legs together, or if you prefer, have a passing through the ankles. Let's think about pulling the pelvis into the mat. You might notice a little glute activation, and then lifting out through the chest, a slight extension of the chin, elbows pushing into the mat. Maybe you try and separate your elbows. You'll notice the muscles in the back fire up. Or perhaps you pull the elbows behind you if that feels a bit more effective. Good, Sphinx pose, really nice. So active through the back of the body after our back bend. Take a breath, see if you can lift a little taller. And then we'll rebend the knees, lifting the hips up. Walk your hands back towards you. Until you feel ready to tilt your tailbone up, dropping the belly, reaching the arms forward again for puppy pose. So again, we're looking for chin, chest, maybe forehead down onto the mat, extending the arms ahead of you, back bend, shoulder stretch, still breathing. And then we'll slither forwards into Sphinx pose. So bending the elbows, let your belly, hips find the mat with the chest lifted. Maybe this time you alter the position of the feet. So if they were closer together last time, you take them apart this time, or if they were apart before, this time they can become closer together. But again, we'll lift out through the front of the body. So we're coming back to a back bend, but active. Elbows pulling back or pulling wide. As the collarbone broadens, try and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Imagine you've got a wall right in front of you. So ignore the fact that your hands are in the wall. The wall is against your chest and you're trying to draw your shoulders away from the wall. Good, lovely. And then we'll slowly breathe out, lower all the way down. As that happens, send your elbows wide so you make a pillow for your head. Relax your head down. When the tension melts out of your lower back, give your hips a rock side to side to side. Nice. Now place your hands on the outside edges of your mat. So your hands are wider than your shoulders and about a half a foot ahead of you. And we're going to take a slow ripple up into a wide arm cobra. So allow your head to be the last thing to rise up. Imagine you're lifting through the back of the neck first, elbows high and wide, ripple up. Lastly, the head lifts, take a breath in. And I'm going to ripple it back down. Let the elbows widen and bend. The head is the last thing to drop down. 2 more times, breathing in, lift, allow the back of the neck to stretch. The head rises, inhale, tuck your elbows in towards each other so the bicep muscles are forward, and a slow ripple down. Good, 1 more time. Breathing in, we rise up, ripple up to your wide arm cobra pose. Lift the head last, tuck the elbows in, biceps forward. And a slow roll down. Awesome. Bring your hands in underneath your chest. Hips back again, take a child's pose, reach forward, allow the chest to sink down. It's a great time to have a sip of water if you need it as the body hangs onto or in between your knees. And then we'll slowly rise ourselves up and come to a seated position. Now feel free to use the length of your mat as you are. I'm going to face you so it makes it a little bit easier for you to see. With both knees gently bent, we're going to start with this single leg forward fold. So let's work the right hamstring first. Straighten that leg, lift your toes, that your toes, knees, and hips are in line. Left knee squeezes towards you, and then you're going to tilt it out towards the side, bring your foot onto your inner thigh. If you need a little shuffle through the hip bones, you can just place your hands behind you, lift and resettle so that both hips feel grounded. And that tallness that you just established, I'd love you to try and keep that. Keep the body tall as you breathe in and then look forward, hinging at the hips. The rest of the body stays flat. Slowly fold over your right leg. Now check out if you're holding any tension in the left knee. Perhaps it's sneaking up without you realizing it. Encourage the left knee to drop if that feels good. As you look over your right toes, take your hands with you. Let the body slowly melt over the leg. Finding your edge with a hamstring stretch, and if it's really tight, bend the right knee first before you lean over the leg, and then let it shift away as much as feels comfortable. Maybe you can place your hands on your calf or your ankle or your foot. And if that's the case, take a breath in, let the body lift with your inhale, pull the leg towards you so you've got an active anchor point. And as you breathe out, slowly lower. We'll take 2 more like that, super gentle. Inhale and lift. So we rise, pull the leg towards you, exhale, lower. Keep the body long. And one last time, inhale, lift. And let it go. You're going to find the bottom range of this hamstring stretch and stay here. Allow the head to lower now. Maybe you're looking down towards your knee or your calf. Take the tension out of your arms and let the weight of your body act as the lowering device. So slowly, slowly let the body relax. Encourage the hamstring to soften. One more breath. And then we'll gently walk the hands up alongside the leg. Use that to lift your body up, up, up and away. And we'll swap the legs around. So draw in the right knee, pick up the left, straighten the left leg, extending your toes towards the ceiling. And then it's the right knee. Let it fold wide. Bring the sole of the foot towards your left inner thigh. Sit tall. Let's check on those sit bones, actively grounded. Keep the length that you have and slowly lean over your left leg this time. So we're thinking about pivoting from the hips. The rest of the body pretty much stays where it is. Using your hands to guide you down if you need to. Remember, you can bend the left knee if the hamstring is super tight. Maybe you even slide a pillow underneath the knee before you then lower your body onto your thigh and then scooch your leg away from you. Otherwise, if you're happy to lower down, anchor your hands on your calf, your ankle, or your foot. And we'll take a breath in, lift and lengthen, especially through the back of the body. Draw the leg towards you. And then breathe out, let it go, gently creeping down. Perfect. 2 more, breathe in, lift. And let it go. Gently down. One last time, another inhale. And exhale, lower. We're going to find the bottom edge of that range. Stay there. Let the head start to drop. Use the weight of your own body now to come into your hamstring stretch. So folding over the leg as much as the hamstrings allow. Keep breathing. Reassure those muscles it's okay. And then we'll gently use the hands to guide you back up. Upright, all the way, up, up, up. Nice, well done. Keep this left leg where it is. The right leg now, as we pick it back up, maintain the bend, but place your foot on the outside of your left knee. So if you want to shuffle through the hip bones again, they still feel balanced, that's perfect. Squeeze the right knee up nice and tight towards you. Take your left elbow up and over to the outside of the knee. And then your left or right hand just places behind the hips. Sit tall, lift, and then as you breathe out, slowly soften, rotate into your twist. Now check that you can still feel both your sit bones equally weighted on towards your mat. So you're not leaning in one particular direction. And with the balance, lifting up through the crown of the head. And then as you soften, perhaps you can ease a little deeper in towards your twist. But check that you're still comfortably breathing despite the rotation through your trunk. Good, well done. Let's take one more breath here. So there's a gentle anchoring of the elbow on towards your knee to facilitate your twist. And the next time you breathe out, soften, release the pressure of the elbow to the knee, turn your shoulders towards the front, and we'll swap the legs around. So it's the right leg's turn again, extended. Left knee this time squeezes up tight towards your chest, guide the foot to the outside of your right leg. Sitting tall again, anchor both your sit bones. Take your right elbow to the outside of the knee, the left hand just outside of the hip, and then we'll slowly start to turn around to the left-hand side. Using our breaths in to sit tall, and the breaths out to see if we can soften into the twist as much as the breathing allows. Remember, natural, rhythmical breathing. Twists are really nice for easing any tension out of the back, but don't take it so far that you feel you're holding your breath. And check it again, both sit bones evenly grounded. And the next time you exhale, we'll face the front again. Good. Bring both knees up in towards your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then we'll make our way onto our back again. Nice and slowly, nice and steadily. It's a great time if you want to grab yourself a blanket or a pillow to place maybe under your knees, maybe under the lower back, behind the head, whatever feels natural. Gently, gently make your way down. Layer up if you need to. And same options with the knees that we had at the start. Maybe the feet are hip distance apart, the knees are lifted, and then just gently falling in towards each other. Or reclined butterfly, where the soles of the feet are together, the knees are wide. Maybe this feels a little bit more comfortable than it did at the start of the practice. So you can dim your lights, you can close your eyes, place your hands again back on your belly or your lower ribs, whatever feels good. I've got my knuckles interlaced and the hands, the palm of the hand just resting on the abdomen. Again, maybe a little wriggle through the hips, a wriggle through the shoulders so that your body feels super comfortable, rested and supported, perhaps with any props that you have around you. And then fall into the natural rhythm of your breath. I've got a really nice little reading for you here as the tension eases out of your muscles and joints, letting the ground support you. So I've used this lady's work a couple of times, Nikki Benash. She writes a collection of letters with a book called Shine From Within. And this is one of her very early extracts. When you feel like you're surrounded by darkness, remember that you hold endless light within your own beating heart. Remember that you hold this light even if it feels like your world is falling apart. Even if it feels like you can't keep it all together for another moment, look for it within you. I promise it's there. There is still boundless hope in your heart. There is still beautiful peace within. There is an incredible light in your soul, and you will feel light again, and you will feel peace again. No darkness out there could ever compete with the light you hold within. So it's always in you, always that hope, that energy, that peace, that light. No matter how tough things may feel, it's there. Look within, and you'll be able to guide yourself out. When you're ready, sneak a little bit of movement back into your fingers and your toes, and any other movement that your body needs. Maybe you just want to stay there for a moment longer, and you're absolutely welcome. Stay rested. If your body needs an extra few moments on your back, stay there. If you want to squeeze into a little ball, if you feel like you've got a little bit more energy in your muscles, curl up nice and tight. Or maybe you want to do the opposite. You want to spread out and take out space. So fingertips and toes, reach them as far as they'll go. Maybe you need another gentle twist with the knees either side of your chest, rocking left to right. But when you're ready, make your way slowly, steadily, gently back into a seated position. No rush. Rise back up when you're ready. Fantastic. Cross your legs in a manner that feels comfortable, or maybe you've got the soles of the feet together again. Perhaps you're kneeling on your legs or you have them extended. Wherever you are, just take a little shuffle, sit up tall, reconnect with the ground beneath you, place your hands lightly on your knees. Let's take those same shoulder rolls that we did at the beginning. So squeeze them up as you breathe in, draw the shoulders back, breathe out, squeeze them down. And one more, up, back, and down. Keep that lift that you just created through your body. Send your fingertips left to right. Reach wide. Turn your palms up. Another breath in together. Sees your hands extend up overhead. Palms connect. Breathe out and lower. Send your elbows wide as you push your palms together. Pause here for a second. Then rub your palms together vigorously. Rub, 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 rub. Left to right. And when you feel a little bit of heat over your palms, place them over your eyes. Feel that heat radiating from your face to your palms and back. There's your heat, your light, your warmth within. Thank you so much for your company. I hope you've had a lovely, restful, gentle, steady flow. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much. Namaste.